Okay, so today we're going to be learning about Azure Data Factory, which is a cloud integration service. And this topic is pretty much popular in Canada because here the cloud is blooming and people are interested to learn a lot of new things. Best part about this tool is you don't have to code. So it's a code-free platform, you can say. And if I were to show you this picture, if you can see my mouse, this is how the Azure Data Factory looks like a logo at least. And why this tool has become so popular is because uh, you can have multiple data sets, multiple files getting inserted into this, and it can throw a single or a multiple output uh, on a platform, on a different platform. So very easily, I'll just, if you guys have any questions, you can tell me. I'll start very like simply, and I'll try to explain it in ways that you can understand, all can understand. Okay, so this is the data factory, as I told you. And what is exactly a data factory is, it's a data integration tool. Integration means basically combining data from different sources and outputting the data to a different source. And it's not a data store itself. Basically here the computations are applied. Computations as in when you write a query in SQL Server, what you're doing is you are just writing select star and basically order by. That's what you'll be doing here in the cloud, which I'll show you in the demo. And it orchestrates the data movement between supported data stores and the processing of data. So if you guys don't know about this Spark thing, no worries. It's just that this cloud uses this Spark technology at the back end to enhance and speed up your queries and give you ultimate solution in minutes instead of taking hours, because the data that we'll be talking about is basically big data here. And it supports both the cloud and on-premises computing of data. So you guys have any questions, do let me know.
Hi, Vaibhav. I have one question.
Yes.
Vaibhav, before starting, I'm asking this question from a point of view of a beginner. So before someone starts to learn Azure, is it advisable for them to know concepts of big data first and then go ahead and learn Azure?
Very good question. Definitely. You will get to know the 5 V's of the data, big data, and a little bit about the big data would be a good thing to know first to understand what is going on here. But even if you don't know now, it's fine because I'm using a data that is in kilobytes for this demo. The companies that basically are doing business will be using the data in terabytes or petabytes. So even if you don't know for this session, it's fine. But later on, for sure, if you're learning this ADF, definitely you need to learn big data for sure.
Okay, thank you. You talked about 5 V's. I didn't understand what that is.
Yes. So 5 V's of the, so I'll show you on the screen here. So big data is having 5 V's. So this is volume, value, variety, velocity, and veracity. All this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And I understand where you're coming from because this is something that I also faced. So I started my journey of learning about big data when I joined the Tanvir's course. So SQL is the most important language. People say it's not as important, but it is the most important language one must learn in order to understand all of this. Even in the big data thing, you will be learning SQL on Hive. You will be learning SQL on the cloud. I'm sorry. Let's go back to the presentation.
So,
thank you.
Cloud computing won't be a big issue for you if you are going for an interview, because the core things that
may I request you guys to go on mute? Yeah. Okay, so just a minute, Baba, 1 minute, okay?
Yes,
I'm
definitely.
audible, right? Okay.
Yes,
So quickly, I will tell you about 5 V's, and I will try to explain that in 1 minute. Actually, this 5 V's, okay. I think Naveen has asked this question, right?
Sir.
Okay. So actually, this 5 V's, okay, are the main reason why we have big data these days. Okay, this is the main reason why we have big data, because before 2013 or 12, big data was not in much picture. Very few people know about that, right? So you might be thinking that suddenly how this big data came into picture. So the reason is this 5 V's. The first one is volume, V for volume. The volume at which the data we are getting nowadays, you all know. I think I don't have to explain that. You have a lot of social media sites. You are getting data from that at a very high speed, right? And then the data you are getting from the sensors, from the satellite images, from the cameras, and all those things. So nowadays we are handling very huge volume of data. That is volume. Second is value. Because of actually value, we are doing all those things, SQL, ETL, and all those things. Because once you will understand the data, then you can understand the value which is hidden behind the data, and then you can take some business decisions, right? So like suppose if you have a huge volume of data and you will think that, okay, let it be, let not process it. So what will happen? You will not understand your business, how your business is performing, correct? So that's where value. And the third is the variety. Nowadays you are getting semi-structured and structured data, unstructured data. You know, like you are getting data in images. Take the example of LinkedIn. Many people, they are sending that PDF files, they're sending that video, and that some text, some links are there, right? But that is variety. Nowadays the data you are getting, it's in the structured format, unstructured format, semi-structured format. And then velocity at which it is coming, and veracity, it means how accurate it is. So actually these 5 V's are the main reason which has given birth to big data. Okay. Although I know I have not explained detail, but quickly I wanted to tell you. So yeah, Vaibhav,
yeah,
you can proceed now. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, definitely. This helps a lot because definitely this is the reason why big data is termed as big data, because of this reason, for sure. Thank you, Tanvi. Thank you. And
Hey, Vaibhav.
yes.
I heard there's one more tool called Azure Synapse Analytical Tool, which is like a subset of ADF. Could you just give some insight? Like at the moment, it also handles the data integration of big data as well. I'm just overheard on the LinkedIn. If you could just throw some insights, that will be appreciated.
Oh yeah, definitely. So Azure has basically hundreds of tools inside its bag of all the computation tools and everything, storage tools. The thing is, today I'll be talking about the data factory, but later on, anytime for sure, you can DM me or reach me on LinkedIn. I'll post this link as well after this call. And I would love to talk to you about that later on for sure. But for today, I'll concentrate on, I'll talk about more about this data factory, because this is where the basics, the fundamentals comes in. And Synapse is, I know it's a subset, but it's a little advanced for the beginners. So I'll just continue. If there is any more questions regarding the data factory, I'll be taking them. Okay.
No
Any
worries.
more questions? No?
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this is very easy. See, we have data sets on the premises, as you can see on the left-hand side. For now, forget each and everything you are looking at the right-hand side. It doesn't exist for you for now. this data is on the on-premises. Let's say these are some files that I have on my laptop, right? So the thing is, these are expanding now. So as Tanvir sir has talked about, the volume is getting increased, and these data sets are now increasing in number. It's basically has reached to a point that my hard drive is getting exceeding its amount, basically. So the thing is, I need to move this data to a service so that I can basically join the data sets or do some transformations, or just select the required columns and get rid of all of the rest that are not required. Although deleting any columns may cause the source data to be not accurate. So that's where this thing comes into picture. The Azure Data Factory, what it will do is, this tool will provide you some tools within itself that will convert this data set, and it can then store it to your cloud service or any other integration service. This Cloud DB means it can support the Azure, it can support AWS, it can support Google Cloud Platform. So any cloud service it can support. So basically we are transferring the data from on-premises to the cloud, and in between the Azure Data Factory is playing a big picture thing. It's integrating the data from the on-premises and outputting it to the cloud. Or even if you want to output it to your local system having a bigger hard drive, you can do that as well. So this diagram basically shows how the things are running inside the data factory. Before I begin from this big square, is there any questions concerning about the part of on-premises and the cloud, the left and the right thing, here and here?
No issues.
No issues. Perfect. Thank you so much for confirming. I hope I'm not being too fast about it. So, okay.
It's perfect.
So thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So the thing is, this data set, we need to basically make a pointer of that data set inside the data factory. A pointer is just, you can call it as a variable when you define, sorry, just 1 second. Azure Data Factory is mainly for data processing. Yes, thank you, Tanvir sir. Yes, it's for data processing and it's for data analytics. Synapse is for data analytics. Okay, so considering this pointer, you can call it basically some kind of a variable inside the data factory that will basically tell the data factory that this dataset 1 is the same dataset 1 on the on-premise. So we need to make that pointer first so that data factory will know, okay, what am I dealing with? Where this data is coming from, or what is it storing, what is the schema and everything. Same thing here. So these two things are basically a variable of this data set. You can call it as a pointer in terms of actual thing. If someone were to ask you, what is this data set on the data factory, it's the pointer, whereas the actual data set still resides inside the on-premise. Okay. Then we need to establish a connection between this on-premise data set to the data factory, which is on the cloud. So this linked service comes into picture, which is kind of like a connection string that will connect your data set from on-premises or cloud to the Azure Data Factory. So any questions in this linked service or the dataset pointer, please do let me know, because I think people may get confused with this, but it's again very simple, and I would love to repeat it again if you have any issues at all.
So Vaibhav, is the pointer holding address of the dataset one which is on premises? Sorry.
Very good question. Yes, you can, when this question is asked in an interview, you can say yes, it's holding an address, it's holding like the schema or something. No worries, you can tell them that. It does store the name of the dataset, first of all, and it does store the schema.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Like metadata, you mean?
Yes, exactly. That's the actual term for it, the metadata, for sure. Yes. And this link service, any questions regarding this? Because obviously we need to establish some connection where, so this stores the where part and this stores the what part, right? You can call it that. What is the data and where the data is residing, right?
Vaibhav, which connectors will we be using for this? For
Very good
connection
question
strings?
again. Yes, so the connection strings, I'll show you in a wee bit when we come to the demo part, that what connections. Basically, I didn't tell you about what data right now ADF can take in, right? So that I'll explain in a like 5 minutes, okay? Give me like just 5 minutes, I'll explain it later for sure. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. Any other questions?
No, for now.
Awesome. Awesome. Very nice. So,
Vaibhav, Vaibhav, I have a question for audience. Can anyone tell that why we need ADF as your data factory? Why? How the business will get benefited from this? I want a quick answer.
Sir, I'm guessing from what Vaibhav has just told. I'm guessing that the time required to compute results will be will be really very fast when compared to while doing it with on-premise.
Okay, that's correct. Any other?
Cost
Any other thought?
optimization. Cost optimization is one of the things, Tanvir, because whenever we want, we can use and we can decommission it.
Okay, see,
Scalability
the
is one.
purpose
Scalability is one.
purpose why I'm asking is, suppose the same question will be asked in an interview. Okay, that okay, why? Okay, you told cost. I can create using Python, no? Why I should go for Azure Data Factory? I have to buy license of Microsoft. The same thing I can do using open source Python. That will be too, yeah, it's very cheap, right? Then how you will cost this?
Hello,
I
Tanvir,
think-
Nilesh. So
Yeah.
ADF have some inbuilt functionality like Databricks or some ADLS, so due to which it give a better understanding for a developer to process all the data in a one go. Like we have already Databricks for the
Okay.
Sparks and the ADLS for the storage activities. That's all.
Okay, this part, a lot of background noise. Please go on mute, guys, please. Okay, yeah, this is valid point. See, this Azure Data Factory, if you remember, Vaibhav has told in the very beginning that you don't have to code anything. It is code-free service. It means it has a lot of functionalities which is ready-made. You don't have to write, you don't have to code everything. Okay, and to a certain extent, the same feature was given by Informatica long back. So this is one of the important feature of Azure Data Factory. So a lot of tasks for which you have to code it, we don't have to code it here. Very important. Second thing is, yeah.
One quick question. This functionality is not available in AWS or GCP.
No. I'm not comparing that as of now, but that is a debatable topic. Okay, and we will be having different topic of discussion there, but that is fine. Second thing is, nowadays you have, can I request guys to go on mute? Shantanu, Sandeep. Okay, so now what I was telling, I forgot. Nowadays you have, Vaibhav, can you please mute Shantanu? You are the host. Yeah, thank you. So nowadays, you see why I'm asking you, this is the first question you asked in your interview. Why I should go for Azure Data Factory? So the next thing is you have a lot of data, on-premise data, and you have some data in cloud. So this Azure Data Factory has that capability that it can collect all the data, either it is in on-premise or it is in cloud, and then it can ingest in that cloud wherever you want. So at a high level, this is the reason we are going for Azure Data Factory. And then that is what Vaibhav is showing you, that schematic diagram, that internally how it works. And really this is in huge demand. So try to, yeah, Vaibhav, yeah, please go ahead.
Oh, no, definitely. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this insight. For sure, it helps the participants understand much better. And yes, so the next thing here, as long as you understand the what part, that what is being stored and where it is stored, the next thing is the actual ingestion or the read and write, you can say, which is done by the integration runtime. For now, I am just using this integration runtime as a compute node. So this thing will actually be doing all the transformation, all the read and write. It's actually called node. You can say it's a node that helps us do the operations. So I'm just quickly gonna bring in this SQL Server onto my window here. And it's just a quick exercise. I know you guys know SQL very well because obviously our tutor is Tanvir sir, of course, right? So what this is just a small activity here just to show you how things go here when you code and how things go at the cloud level. So when I execute this query, this is my table that I've created, just a dummy table. I've got this table from open source, Google, and I just right now I'm implementing a query, select star. So if I were to just get the count of users based on country, so anyone in the chat box quickly can tell me what is the count of user ID based on country. Quick, simple query. I'm sure you guys can easily do this. It'll take 2 minutes of time for everyone. Oh, we already got one. Oh, nice. Nayan, very nice, Nayandeep. So select count of star from table. Okay, so user ID. Oh, sorry, activity is the table name where country is equal to India. Okay. So this is good. Whereas if you were to apply, instead of where, we can do maybe group by country, which Harshita, Divvi, and yes, other two participants have correctly answered the group by thing. So here, if I were to just do group by country, this will basically give me the count of the users, right? Okay. So why I'm doing this activity is just to show you the same thing I'll be doing on the cloud and generate this thing here. So that you can see how it is being done on the cloud. And as you all know, that the order of execution while we are coding, we have to always remember in Tanvir sir's class, what is being implemented first. So first thing is the from part, like which data set the data is coming from. So which table, basically here in the SQL server, the table was activity. And after that, of course, we have join, and then the where clause is there, then the group by having, at the very end, we have select, and then we are ordering it and getting the final output. So until here, is there any question I can take? Because this is something we have already learned, and I was just about to compare this thing with the cloud. Any questions?
No.
Nothing, Vaibhav.
Awesome, very nice. So the SQL order of execution while you are coding it is very strict, whereas on the cloud it's very flexible. You can have the select at the very beginning as well. I know it doesn't make sense, but you can do that because everything is in a temporary table. So it's very flexible first. And second thing is the users have control over how the execution will go. Okay. So on the cloud, the execution is very flexible and the users have control over how the execution can go. All right. So these are the three, like 5 components of the data factory, which I'll show you here. For now, forget everything on the right hand side. I'll be talking about it. We'll focus on the left hand side here. Yes, any questions? Okay. So these are the, yes. These are the 5. I'm sorry, someone is on, not on mute. Okay, no worries. So these are the 5 parts of the factory. This is called like factory resources. There's a pipeline, change data captured, data sets, data flows, and Power Query. For today, because I want you to see an example of how things goes, I'll just be talking about 1, 2, and 3, the first 3 part. And later on, in maybe another session, we can talk about these 2 as well. But this will give you a general idea how things are being run on the cloud, right? All right. So the objective.
Vaibhav,
Yes.
you can you'll be having an option of mute all. Okay, so you can click. You can do that. Mute all. Can you see that option?
Oh, very nice. Where can I find that? Mute
I think
all.
mute
Okay.
all. Yeah. Can you see that?
Oh, yes. Mute. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. All right. So the objective for today is we're going to be reading the data from the cloud. This is something as a blob storage. If you guys don't know what the hell this is, don't worry, because I'll be sharing a link with you to understand and show you how the data is being stored here. So first is the read from the cloud storage. So as we all know that the data, if I were to just quickly open a notepad. Okay. So data is coming from this cloud, right? And then we will transform this data using the ADF, and then we'll be outputting the data in the SQL DB. This is how the flow I meant in this slide. Very simple, no worries at all. I'll basically tell you and show you on the cloud platform as well, like how these things are done. So we are going to be reading the data inside the data factory using this link, and then transforming using the data flow, which is this part here, the data flow here. and outputting the data to a SQL server, which is again on the cloud, and then schedule it for a specific period. So I know this won't make any sense to a beginner, of course, or sometimes it can be tricky for people who don't know cloud. So no worries, you can just skip this thing, whatever I've written here, and I'll show you on the cloud itself. Okay. So here's where the big guns are. Basically, the data set is the part where we store the actual data. This is the pointer, not store, actually the pointer. Again, if you were to reference our slides, the pointer of the ADF are stored all here, like what the data is, right? So I'll take questions if you have any, because I know this part might be confusing, like what the hell is this, or these 5 things. No questions? Okay.
Could you briefly introduce those 5 points briefly?
Yes,
at a high level?
Definitely. Yeah, I forgot to do that, definitely. So I'll begin with the data sets, because this is very integral to the pointer part, which we were talking about in our slides. The pointer, these are the pointers of the data factory, the data sets. And our actual data is stored here. So if I were to give you this link, I think I've made it public. Guys, can you quickly check? I've pasted something in the chat box if the data is opening for you. I'm not sure if it will, but okay.
It's asking for a sign in.
Sign in, no worries. Use this link instead.
Okay, I was able to open it. I went straight away to the.
Oh, login. Okay, no worries. Use the second link if you can. See if the second link is working fine, because I'm sure I made it public. But if not, no worries. I'll show you the data set.
No, the second link is not working, Vaibhav.
Okay, second link as well. No worries. Okay. So this is something as a container inside the cloud. If you don't know what is this container, what is the storage account, no worries. Basically, this is a place where 50 or 60% of people using Azure are storing their data, and they are basically storing hundreds and thousands of files with thousands and millions of columns and rows inside each file. So we are talking about big, very big data here. For now, you'll laugh if you see the size of my data set is in bytes. So it's very low that I've kept for the demo part, because I want to show you what goes on inside the computation part, but no worries. So this is my data set. It's very simple, just a country, same as you can imagine an Excel file, the country and index is a column. And these are my rows here. This is just some index. You can imagine it as happiness index, hunger index, any kind of index. I've just taken this for anything, like just a demo purpose, okay? So this is my data and one of the files, of course. So this is one of the data that I'll be using. And second one is this one. A little big, but it's the same basically. It's the same that I showed you over here, okay? So select star from activity. This is the same data set I have kept over here, okay? For which 2 guys have given me the query as well. So Shubham, no worries if you cannot find the blob, it's fine. I'm just showing the data set. It's okay. You can skip that. Okay. And you may notice this is in a CSV format. Okay. So this is where the data is coming from into this pointer. Okay. Am I making sense, guys? Any questions at all for the datasets part? You can let me know.
Clear.
All clear, very nice. So I'll create a new data set because we need to make a pointer, as I told you in the slides, that we have to make a pointer for this data set. Where this data is residing is in a blob, as Shubham has mentioned that it's a blob storage. He cannot find the link for it, so I've stored it in the blob storage. Now, this is the very important part. The interview question lies in this very thing of the next. When I click next, what kind of data is supported by the Azure Data Factory? And you can see this is something like a lot of things that doesn't make sense for now. That's totally fine. Avro, Parquet, ORC, and this binary. Maybe you guys know binary is the text. .txt file goes in here. Delimited .csv file goes over here. .json file goes over here. Excel is just XLSX, XLSB, XLS file goes over here. Okay. And these Avro, Parquet, and XML are for only limited to Hadoop, which is again a big data tool to compute and store the data, process and store the data. Will not be going much in depth about these, but you are free to go on Google and learn more about these file formats. But just letting you know, this is a very important interview question. What data is supported inside the data factory? So this is all the data sets you can possibly imagine, right? So I know for sure my file is in CSV, so I'll click here, continue. And it's asking me to, just a second. Yeah, it's asking me to rename. So I'll just give this a name, which is a data set source 1. This nomenclature is very important. When you're working in a company, you might be facing issues. Okay, what is this source 1? This is even like, this is also very bad because I should give the actual name of the data, which is the sample data. So I'll just provide that sample data. So this is my source where the data is coming from. Very important part again from the slides, what the data is, right? And where the data is coming from. These two things are definitely being shown here as well. The name of the data and the linked service. So I have created a linked service here that connects the blob storage, that connects my blob storage to the ADF, the tool that I'm using as of now. So no worries about this one. If you guys don't know what this is just the connection string from the data that is on the cloud to the ADF, the pointer. Okay. So as soon as I click the link service, so before going any further, any questions? Because I know someone may get confused here. So any questions?
No.
No questions? Oh man, I'm teaching that good. Come on, guys. Okay. So file path here, we have to provide the, as soon as I open this folder browse, you will see it has actually opened this container, V container. So V is just my nickname. My name is Vaibhav. In Canada, they call me V. So I just use that. And see, the V container connection has been established because I can browse my folder inside my Azure Data Factory. This is a different tool, and this is a completely different tool, right? So we made the connection from the blob to the ADF successfully, and I'm going to select the data set now, which is the sample data. I'll just click on this one and click OK. And I'll specify that my first row has headers. as easy as that and import schema from the connection. Of course, I need to import the schema. By the way, guys, do you know when you import the schema from a CSV file, everything comes in a string. So that is like important part to remember, because later on we'll be seeing that, of course, it will be in a string format. Everything is converted into string, even if it's an integer or date. I'll show you that. And click OK. And this is one of the data sets that we have created as a pointer. And you can notice a lot of things have popped up here, like what is the link service, what is the file path, compression, and everything. For now, just skip it, jump to schema, and you will see what I was talking about. Everything is now converted to strings, which we don't want, of course. I'll tell you later on how to change that using the data flow. So on that part, any questions on the data set? Because I know we covered this as of now, and you can feel how simple it is to make a pointer on the ADF, right? Do you guys agree with me?
Yes, sir.
It's all good. Any questions?
It's all.
Okay.
Nothing.
Nothing? Very nice. Good. So the same thing, what I'll do is create one more data sets quickly, because we have two data sets residing in here. First is the sample data, like normal one, and second is with the underscore. So I'll quickly import, basically make a pointer for the data set again. So blob, and this is again CSV, ES source, and sample data 2. Oh.
Looks like there are 3 tabs near the pointer: data transformation pipeline, in DS index. What's that?
Yes, yes. So I'll go ahead and delete those, because for the before the demo, I actually practiced it myself and then made this. This is just a pre-reciting, you can say. This is just something that was pre-built. Same way, it's actually having the same thing, but in order for me to show you the demo how it is done, I'm creating again.
Okay.
So one of the participants is talking about what the hell is here, the index input and the V storage input. It's just only these two data sets again. Okay.
No. Oh, there are tabs on your middle pane.
Oh, tabs here. Okay, no worries. These are the same things. I've opened this here. I'll close them and I'll open them again to show you. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So my second file is in here, and this. Okay. So my sample 2 has also, so I'll close this. Data transformations pipeline. This is my first, the connection that I've just made from the link service here. This is my first data pointer. This is my second data pointer. Schema is again in strings. We don't want index to be a string. We want index to be as integer, which we'll learn later on how to do that, right? You guys know about the alter command inside the SQL, right? Alter column name, table name, right? That command.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That is what I'll show you in a wee bit on the cloud. So first we need to publish all so that we can save these data sets inside the data factory.
What does parameter has? Parameters beside the schema?
Yes, it's a very good question. So what's your name again?
Kunal.
Kunal. The thing is, when we are making connections, sometimes we want to automate things. Let's say I were to give a dynamic content, or I don't want to give this file names while creating the pointer. I want to give them while I'm running the pipeline. So I know this is very advanced. I was not hoping to touch base on this, but you can just imagine this as a part to automate the pipeline.
This is like parameterizing the things. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Parameterizing the pipeline to make it more subtle, to make it basically to import data sets at runtime, you can say. Okay.
Yes, got it.
Yeah. Don't worry about this for now. Basically, I'll be giving you a lot of material as well to cover. This is the YouTube channel that I learned everything from. For free. Honestly, I'm just paying for this. I'm just paying for the Azure Data Factory, but I've learned everything for free. But you should, of course, know how to do SQL, which is the prime thing here, right? So I'll be providing with everything, Kunal, the data sets, the queries, even the script and everything. Okay, so no worries. So publishing, I'll just publish all to save it to the environment. So when I click this publish all, you can see it's publishing. So part of the job is done, which is to store everything in a pointer and a link service. Now we need to do some transformations, right? Because we need to give some output, right? We have to join these two tables. This table, the index table, and you'll find country column is the, you can say, the matching column for the table 1 as well as for the table 2, the country, as you can see here, right? We'll be matching it on a country. I know this is a very bad example. I should have joined it using some user ID or something, but you'll find the output is basically similar, right? So, all right, guys, any questions? Because we are now about to cover the data flows. Data sets is done.
So I just want to reiterate, just to confirm that I understood what you've told, Vaibhav.
Yes.
You have brought the data existing to data sets using containerizing. I mean, you put that into a container, right? So on that you are working now ahead.
Yes. So the data is already inside the container. This is the physical location of the data, whereas for the data sets, this is the pointer that I've made. You can say, you can call it as a variable that I've made for these two data sets. These are pointing to this data here, just a pointer. If I were to go to a sweet shop, which I know in India, it's like a very, very famous Om Sweets, my favorite, and I'm standing at a chalk or somewhere and I point like that is where the best sweet shop is. This is basically the same thing if I'm making good analogy out of it. So do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is pointing to the actual data here, right? Okay. So as we move on to the part where the actual data flow. So this is where we'll alter the rows, change the data types, like I told you about. I'll quickly rename this as data flow 1 instead of, I want to call it transformations. Okay, so it's saying me to add source. I clicked it and something came up and it's asking me to select a data set like here, the output stream and a little bit of description and what is this data set and inline. So forget about this one for now because this is used for Cosmos DB, which is again a NoSQL. We'll be using the RDBMS now because as I told you, ADF takes in both structured and unstructured data. So we'll be using this one. And the data set that we just created, it's asking, what is my source, sir? And this is my source, the first table. And in order for me to just allow schema drift, it's already selected. It's just, this option is just for allowing me to just use the schema, whatever it is in here. Okay. Whatever this data set pointer that we have made on the data sets, which is a string data type, it will just allow the same thing. Okay. And forget for now, don't worry about these things. It's a little advanced. What is all of this? I'll just tell you what is the important part here. Okay. So as you noticed, I turned on this data flow debug. This is something while we're using this tool as well, we can debug it, right? We can debug using the dots here, right? As you all know, I don't know how to do it on the code side, but the software programmers much advanced, they know how to debug code inside SQL Server, MySQL, anything, right? The same thing is over here. I want to see what is the data that I'm looking at as of now. So when I refresh, this will update. This will basically be coming from the same data set that we have created. I have not done any transformations as of now on this data flow window. So it takes a little bit of time. Until then, I'll add one more source. And I know this because I've created two sources. The first is the countries and user IDs and everything. Second being two columns, just country and index. And if I were to click refresh, it will, okay. Yeah, see, this is my first table having all the things that we used. Same as this. This is having the same data, right? So what is happening in this data flow is where the actual transformations will take place. And I've just used this window to add my source data set. This is source one, this is source two. I'm keeping the name as the same, but if you want to change the name, you can change it here. So here's where the fun part begins. So as I told you guys that these columns, some of them are in, some of them are supposed to be int, some of them are supposed to be date, but everything is ABC, which means it's a string, as you can see here, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So guys, have any questions on this data flow? Because I'll be changing the type of the data set. If you guys have any questions, let me know.
So can I say this is our extraction process?
Transformation process, yes.
Like you brought this from the container to the source, right? So that is what I am saying as it would be extraction.
No. So this is basically the data set that we have used here. We have not extracted as of now. We are just transforming the data set using the pointers that I've made, right?
Oh, okay.
Extraction, I'll show you when the transformations are complete. For sure, I'll show you that, okay?
Okay.
Yes. For now, I'm transforming and see the user ID is having the ABC. This is something called as typecast. Oh yeah, sometimes this happens. I have to refresh it in order to do some transformation on it. So I'll be changing the data types here. So user ID, typecast, and as you can see, I can alter. The same command is given in a single basically list. I want it as an integer. I want event date to be converted as a date. Although I'm not going to be using that column, but still I want this event date to be changed to date, which is, I think it's not shown here, it's fine because I don't want this column anyways. So we will just click confirm to change. Now you can see the ABC has now changed to the 1, 2, 3, right? So confirm and you see we have modified one of the columns inside the source one dataset, right? Same thing I'm going to be doing at the source 2 level because I want this column, which is the index, to be as integer in the data factory. See, this is ABC, both are ABC as of now. So let's change that to integer. Guys, you have any questions at all, I would love to answer because I know this part is a little bit confusing. And if you have any other questions, please. Okay, no questions? Okay. So as I guys told you, as I told you guys that this is the strict order of execution, wherein the select is at the very bottom here. I've not even used join or anything, but still I'll use a select to show you guys that I can use it here. You'll see a plus thing here, right at the very bottom right of this modified columns. When I click this, it will show me a bunch of options. Join, conditional split, union, lookup, everything is here. Even window functions that we create, everything. Literally, you can imagine anything. Rank, all the 4 types of ranks are also here. Dense rank. I forgot what other rank is there. There's like 4 types at least for sure. Cast, flatten, this is for JSON. Filter, sort, alter row, and everything. So see, I can use select even before joining the columns. That is basically the best part I love about this, because I can select what to join with this table of mine, right? And as soon as I click this, it gives me an option. Okay, what columns you want, basically. So as per our expected output, I think I want to basically get country and count, which is the count of the user ID. So I'm going to be doing this thing on the cloud so that you guys have understanding, okay, how this goes. Also, Tanvir sir, I know we have exceeded the time, but can I take 15 more minutes if it's fine?
15 minutes, I think, or else, Vaibhav, can we continue in the next session? Because I'm not sure with the participants if they can stay for 15 minutes, because today is like Sunday and maybe they'll be having some other commitments as well.
Oh, exactly. So definitely, whatever you say, I'll do that.
But I think
Tanvir, we would like to stay.
you want to stay? Okay,
Yes.
it's fine.
Yes.
So that's
it's
great
that
then.
interesting. I thought you guys
Okay,
are
that's
sleeping,
good.
man.
Thank you.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
thank
great
you
then.
so
So
much.
those who
Thank
can
you.
stay, they
Yeah.
can stay on call, no problem.
And,
Okay, please proceed, Vaibhav. Yeah.
And Vaibhav, I have a question. So this is something like in Informatica, we have a source qualifier, right? We can also directly write a SQL query to fetch the data.
Very, very good question. So, what's your name again, sir?
Sai Kumar.
Sai. The thing is, I have been learning Data Factory for a month now, giving like 6 hours every day to this tool. I have never seen, but I don't want to be wrong for you. If you find anything, you can contact me on LinkedIn that Vaibhav, we can do it using SQL query. Because I have not seen it as of now, but this tool keeps expanding. Microsoft guys are very smart. They are like best company out there, right? One of the 5-man
yeah.
companies.
Yeah.
So of course, if it comes to that stage where they're actually including the queries, do let me know, because I have no idea about that.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Thank you. very much.
Babu, if you will allow, can I pitch in here?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so yes, you are correct. To a certain extent, it's like a source qualifier, what you have in Informatica. You are using the data lineage, you are dragging it, and it is swimming query. That's what you're asking, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, to a certain extent, it's like that only. To a certain extent, not fully. Okay, because again, in Informatica, you have many other. That's what I think during my ETL classes, I have told you to my students who were there, that Informatica, even if you are not strong in SQL, to a certain extent, you can work to a certain extent.
Yes.
Okay, the same thing is with Power BI, and the same thing is with your Tableau as well. Okay, but yes, okay, hope I answered.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vaibhav.
Oh, definitely. And thank you guys for staying. Of course, I'm making you stay, but believe me, this will turn your life around. Data engineering is one of the best fields out there. And this is just one of the parts of the data engineering field. So as I was on this topic, that we can select before we can join, as it's very flexible, it allows me to control the data flow. I'm just gonna click this event name and event date and delete them. Now, here's a good question. If I delete them, will it be deleted from the actual data set? Do you have this doubt, guys?
Yeah.
Definitely. So if this delete is being pressed, it will not delete the data set, the columns in the data set, I mean. Because as I mentioned, this right here, the source is a pointer, and everything is done in the temporary memory inside the backend of the ADF. So nothing will get deleted here, although we can delete everything here. We can even add more columns or do anything, but nothing will be impacted inside our actual data set, which is stored here. So now you will get more. Yeah.
These changes are like restricted to that select module that you have made, right? That you are selling.
Yes,
Hello?
yes. So I'm going to delete them, and you will see that only these user ID and country are only the columns that are remaining as of now. But these two, so you'll see here on the bold side where my mouse is, that columns two total, right?
Yeah.
But in the data set, it won't affect anything, because again, this is just a storage and this is the computation tool. So again, very important interview question, that if I were to select some columns, will it impact the actual data set? So answer is no, it is just selecting them. Even if I delete using the select, it won't delete, okay? I hope I'm making sense, guys. Is it fine?
Yes.
Awesome. By any time, if you are having confusion and you want to check what are these two total columns, I'll just refresh here to check what is in the select clause, and it will give me column and like two columns in all the rows, right? So the hold up is just now we have to just group by the country and get the count. Okay. Same thing we have done here. I want to get this output on the cloud. So here you go. Aggregate. See, it's that simple. I can use any function inside aggregate as well. It will ask me, I'll show you that, how to use sum, how to use average, anything. Okay. Min, max, anything. So incoming stream is stream one. So group by, I want to group by country here. Okay. So group by column country and name as country. Okay. I'll just expand this, and it's asking me to aggregate now. So what do you want to aggregate? See, Sai and Kunal, you guys were asking if we can do a query inside the ADF.
Yes, Vaibhav.
Here's where you will actually do the query of the max or the min. So basically we want the count. So I don't have to even write, I'll just use functions and use this filter word count. And it will pop up here, count all distinct, count if, everything is here. Honestly, I'm impressed. So I'll just use count, and I want what column, I forgot my column name, I don't know. So you can just
Country.
click this. Yes. So you can just click this input schema and click this country. Sorry, not country. I want it by user ID, but in the count, it doesn't matter, right? Or does it? Because you're grouping by country anyways. So save and finish. Now you will see, I'll just rename this real quick, group by, sorry, aggregate. So this is count by user ID. So we are aggregating aggregating the user ID using count, grouping by country. And let's see the result. What do we get? See how easy it is. Do you guys find it easy, right?
Yes.
Country,
This is
count,
actually
user ID. Right? I think I got the same output. Can you guys confirm? I think so, yeah. USA is 3. USA is 3, okay. I can even order by, here, I'll just click this and order by, oh, sorry, sort. I think it's sort, yeah. So sort, and you can click options here. So sort conditions, I want to sort it by country, ascending, and let's preview the data. See, this is good. Okay, now the final operation, the guys that you have been waiting for so long, is the join, I'm pretty sure. So as you can see, there's a bunch of joins. So how do I get this joins? Just by clicking this plus button again. And you'll find my data flow operations are getting increasing as I'm adding more stuff in here. So I'm going to be doing an inner join, and my conditions are to select the country from the first, this result, and the second, the right stream. So I have to mention the right stream here. Left stream is just the left table, the sort 1, and the right stream is the source 2 or the modify column 2. This one, this right here. So I've used these two things, and as you can see, there's a line that just appeared all of a sudden, telling me, informing me that I'm doing a join over here, right? And my conditions are inner join as of now, and I'll be using the country column again from the modifies column 2. And this is something, yeah. So inspect, this is the schema. What is it I'm getting? I'm getting 2 columns by the same name, country, and count and index, which I'll use the select again, right? I'll use the select again to get rid of this one of the country columns. So here you go. Guys, any questions as of now? This is my join. No questions? Okay,
No.
good. So country, I want to remove this column. I can even click here to remove column and confirm, and it will store my result, as you can see here, as a remove column. So you can select, or you can use this option wherein you can just, in the data preview itself, I remove this column, and then my data is now completely transformed. It's ready to be ingested. This is the final and the last part, that this is where my data should be ingested somewhere, right? So you can even change the column, like country should come here or the count should come here. We can change that. For now, I'm just skipping that because this is what I want. This is my output, what I want. That count by user is this, and then the index is this, okay? So let's give, oh, sorry, there's something in the chat box. Please provide the recording. Yeah. So Tanvir sir will provide the recording session. This is the final part. I'm just gonna be showing you where I'm gonna be putting the data set. So I want to put it here inside a SQL server. There's a database that I've created. You know what? I'll create one more. So create table output. So as you guys know, that we have to give the columns, like whatever we are expecting. We're expecting the count, the country, and the index, right? So count and country string or varchar 50 and index. This is the core part of the data engineering. I'm just creating the schema, as you can see. Oh, okay. I have to use one thing here. Use PDB. Oh, tables, column list output. Oh, sorry, I cannot give count here, so I'll just give count users. Okay. I cannot even give index country. Okay. Okay. So see, this is also very important because this count is a function and index is also inbuilt function. So that's why on the cloud, when you run SQL Server, it gives you some errors, but it's fine. So select star from output. See. So right now I don't have any data sets. So one of the participants were very excited to know if we were doing extraction or not. This is basically the best part of data engineering, wherein we are ingesting the data from a transformed activity inside one of our different tool, basically, right? This is the extraction of the data set in the final part of the project. So what I'll do is I'll use sync. This is where the output is. You guys now know what is a source. Source is where this thing takes place, the birth of the data. And sync is after the transformation and everything, we have to use the sync, the destination. And we'll be using these. Basically, we are using two columns. I think I removed one of them. So two columns. Okay.
Hey, Vaibhav. The
Yes.
final transformation that you just introduced, sync. Have you made sure that the table output that you have created in the SQL
Yep.
server, is it
Yes.
pointing it to that server and table?
Yes, yes. Again, very, very good question. So the data set output also needs to be included as a pointer, which I've made already for the purpose of showing you quickly. But the thing is, these three columns, the index, the country, and the count user ID, the same thing should be, the schema should be same here as well, in the same order, as you can see. The count users, the country, and the index. So these three columns, I'll just be deleting this just 1 second. So I want to see the join activity one more time, because it was giving some error. So that thing happens all the time, that sometimes you're using something and it's not working. So it happens the same way in cloud as well. I'm just selecting these three columns here. So select, and you will see, you will find the three things that three columns actually, the country. Oh, the country is coming here now. Okay. Which we can, of course, we can do, we can order it by some other way, but I'll just use the sync activity now. Sync here. And to answer your question, sir, what was your name again?
Press on.
Yes. So to answer your question, the thing is, yes, we have to create an output for that to point the dataset in the correct direction. If we are not pointing it to the correct location or the output, we will get an error, right? So the country, the count, and the index. So it's asking me, see, point to the correct data. So I'll just be using this output. You will see a small cylinder naming SQL here. So I'll just be clicking that. Test the connection so that I'll see that, yes, there's a connection. And if I were to open it, you will see the table right now is a different one. It's not the one that I created, right? I basically need to output everything in this output one folder, but it's not. So I'll just run this query so that this table is created, output one. And as soon as I refresh, you'll find output one as well. Now we are pointing to the correct table. For our transformations part, we have this dataset output, which is having the output one table, right? So for now, as you can see, we don't have anything in the select star. As soon as I execute this, it will run. It will basically sync the data inside our SQL server, okay? So guys, I know this is high time. Any questions? I'll be taking in questions. Anything at all you have any doubts, please let me know. This is the final step.
My name is Piyush. Okay.
Yes.
I just want to understand. First, we upload the data with the help of CSV file. Then we integrate it with the inbuilt function, the ADF. Then why we write the query in the end? Means why I believe that in Azure.factory, we don't need to write the queries. We can use with the inbuilt functions. So I don't understand the last step.
Yes, Piyush, it's an excellent question that you have brought up. Like, why do I need to specify the schema, right? Because the data factory is gonna take care of it. The thing is, inside the SQL server, I should have some kind of a table wherein I'm inserting the data set. However, if I'm just using this sync activity to publish it inside a container, it will you don't need to specify this query, but only for the DB you need to specify, because a table should be inside the SQL, because this is how it goes. Basically, we are ingesting inside the table, or else it will fail. So any other service that you may take, this data set can have Amazon, it can have Google Cloud as well, but it won't work unless you specify the table name here. You have to create a table inside the DB in order for the query to run. Although it's a very good question, very good observation, Piyush, very nice.
Thank you so much.
Anything else?
Hey, hi, Vaibhav, Manju here.
Hi, yes.
Yeah, my question is that all these transformation we can do in the Databricks as well, right? So what is the advantage here we are doing in the ADF?
Excellent question. Excellent. So, Manjari, if we are having terabytes of data, terabytes, I mean, this tool cannot handle, right? Our laptops cannot handle that much storage. However, on the cloud, you can have terabytes of data inserted in this container and it won't affect the storage. This won't affect the computation. So basically, you can say this is the father of the traditional systems that we have.
So, one more question on top of that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you said that it's depend on the data size, right?
Yeah.
So can you please tell me up to which GB or terabyte ADF is good to handle that much type of data, right? That much volume of the data.
Yes. Oh, very good question again. And I think it's an interview question, so I'll just Google it. So ADF maximum capacity of big data. So it says, maybe I have to go here, copy data and scalability. So everything is basically mentioned inside this documentations, right? So petabytes, up to petabytes, right?
Every petabyte.
But depending on your budget, for this, the amount will be very high, very high. I'm pretty sure people are going to be paying in thousands and thousands of dollars for sure.
So it means if the data volume is very high, we should use the data bricks, right? Where the we can spin up the cluster.
I also had the same doubt why ADF is in picture if we have data bricks, if we have Delta Lake, so many things, right? The thing is, Manjari, this is an orchestration tool. If you hang on with me for the last 2 minutes, because everything is done, I have to do one step, which is pipeline, executing the pipeline. In Databricks, it's very good for machine learning. It's very good for collaborating, although it is required to have some coding to be done on PySpark, Scala, or anything using the magic commands. But here it's all codeless. And here we can even publish it to the Git. So you can see setup code repository. Plus, there's an advantage of the pipeline, which is the final step. If you guys have no further questions regarding this, I would love to show you the last part so that everything is compiled. You will understand each and everything. Should I go ahead?
Yeah, that's
please go
fine,
ahead.
Vaibhav.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes. So data flow, these are some of the activities that I can do. Copy data and everything. I'll just use this data flow activity. Don't worry about the parameters as of now. Whatever is mentioned here. Sorry, just one second. So in the data flow, I'm going to be selecting the data flow that I've just made, which is the transformations. Do you see this auto resolve integration runtime? This option is the main component of Azure. Very important interview question again. What the hell is this integration runtime? This is actually running on Azure as of now. We are using their integration runtime. This will actually do the read and write to and from the cloud. The data sets that we created, the linked services that we created towards the data set are just a pointer and a connection string. Actual thing happens here, okay? And for now, the parameters you can skip. And so Manjari, see, in Databricks, do you have this option to schedule a job? So choose a trigger, I'll add a new trigger. So basically we can schedule jobs, even if I'm sleeping at the night time. Let's say, so I sleep basically at, like 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 3. So I want to schedule at the time when I'm sleeping, which is in the morning. So I can use that. I can use the dates, when to schedule. I can even choose like a type, tumbling window, storage events. Don't worry about this very advanced topic. For now, this is just let's keep it here, schedule. And specify an end date. It will schedule from this time to this time. 100% you'll get an idea now. You may have gotten an idea already why data factory is so important, because I'm sleeping in the night, my data is coming in from social media sites every day, and my transformations are running on, and it is getting into a SQL DB here automatically, right? So that is what I can schedule. So I hope this gives you an idea why we are using the ADF. Is it good, Manjari?
Yeah, Vaibhav, it sounds good.
Bit
But
clear,
I
right?
think we
Yeah.
can also, but I think we can also schedule in the Databricks as well, right? With the help of some orchestration tool. It might be
Exactly.
Airflow or some other tool.
Exactly, Airflow, and there's a lot of orchestration tool. Although you will notice this is all in one. We are doing the
Yeah.
transformation, we are doing the orchestration, everything in one, right? That's why I respect these guys. They are so smart. Microsoft guys are very smart. I've just debugged this so that I don't have to run an actual trigger to schedule my pipeline. So you will find here that it's in the progress. So status is in the progress. And I'm so sorry the session got extended by half an hour. I know you guys have plans on the Sunday. I'm really sorry about that, but I hope this gives you an idea about the data engineering field, how this goes. And I'm happy to see some of the participants already have a lot of knowledge regarding this field of big data. If you're a fresher, do not worry. This presentation slides is going to be with you. I have published one of the projects that I've done and shared it to the group on the GitHub. And this is where I learned everything. This is a very good channel, Wafa Studies. This guy is actually from Microsoft. Okay, so I'll be sharing this link as well. He's teaching the data factory from beginning. You just have to pay for the account, or you can use the free account, the data. So see, guys, the last phase is also executed. It has succeeded. And what's the hold up? Let's see. Okay, here you go. Why this thing is not coming? You know why? Because in the stages when we were inside the data flow, the column schema might have changed. See, it is changed. So no worries. Now you get an idea, right? At least this column is getting inserted, right? The schema gets changed all the time. This also happens inside, when we are creating a table and we forgot to put some schema, we get some errors, right? So same thing happens on the cloud as well. Nothing to worry about. Why am I not getting all the output? It's just because my schema got misplaced. This is one of the limitations of the cloud. I selected this auto mapping and it didn't come. So that's okay. Now you guys know what a pipeline is, what happens inside a data flow, all the transformations, the data sets are the pointer. And this is it. Thank you so very much for giving me this opportunity again, Tanvir sir. And if you guys have any other questions, please go ahead.
Thank you for the session, Vaibhav. May I know how can we get access to the free account of ADF, and what is the price of the other one? I mean, of the paid session. Sorry, paid service.
Yeah, the subscription based and the one. Okay. So the advantage of the, I think the paying, with the paying, actually, you will get a lot of extra credits. So for example, when I'm using this data factory, I'm using DTU. What is this DTU? It's a measure of the CPU, as you can see, database transaction unit. I'm being charged for some dollars here to do some activity here, right? Because I'm using their tool, I'm getting charged for transforming the data, for storing it, for extracting it, right? So for paid version, for sure, it will give you all the access, everything. For free, it is restricted for some tools, I guess. Oh no, Riz. I am not even near Tanvir sir. This is just something for me to explore. I'm still studying as a student in St. Clair College here in Canada. So the important part here is you should be trusting your tutor. Whatever they are saying, I still have so much idea about SQL than I used to have before joining Tanvir sir's class. After joining, I have so much more idea for sure. How the order of execution goes, how you can use a case statement inside an order by or select. And there's a lot of things that Tanvir teaches us. So I'm I'm just a student, just exploring projects. And soon I'll be publishing on, so this will be coming up, Cosmos Synapse. So one of the participants, I think, I forgot his name, I'm so sorry, was asking about the Synapse Analytics. So these two things are coming. And this will be within the month, before March, for sure. So any other
Thanks
questions?
a lot. Thanks a lot, Vaibhav. Thanks a lot. Really great session. And I have not expected, to be honest, like the session will be this much interactive. And I never thought that someone like who is still studying and it can take 1.5 hour session. So earlier I was patting my back that, oh, I can take 1.5 hour session or 2 hour session. But yes, that was really great. And I hope everyone has enjoyed. So thanks a lot, Vaibhav, for your precious time you have taken for us.
Again, sir, thank you for giving this opportunity. I cannot even imagine where I would be without the SQL knowledge. So all credit goes to you for teaching students who can, do much more with the SQL. Definitely, I loved. This was my first session, by the way, guys. So I loved it, and I hope you guys also loved it. So. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes, Vaibhav. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Really
Thank you,
very good.
Vaibhav. Thank you much.
Thank you,
You guys have a
Vaibhav.
Thank you,
wonderful day.
Vaibhav.
And
Thank you,
see
Vaibhav.
Thank you, Vaibhav. I just wanted to say one thing.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Vaibhav. This is really a wonderful session and giving a high knowledge on end-to-end how to start with the basics for the ADF. And also, I just wanted to thank Tanvir sir for conducting these sessions regularly and giving us insights on data engineering domain. Not the first time Tanvir sir is conducting these sessions and informing us prior 15 minutes also. Generally, people don't take that initiative before 15 minutes to join. That is really appreciated, Tanvir sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Welcome, guys. Welcome. You are welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vaibhav.
Okay, fine. Then
So
we'll
for
share the
Sai-
recording. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Vaibhav, can you share your
Vaibhav.
LinkedIn
Thanks,
profile
Tanvir
and
sir.
GitHub profile?
Oh, yes. So I'll be putting up on the LinkedIn all the presentation and the project that I've done. And I'll tag Tanvir sir. If you guys don't have LinkedIn, please install LinkedIn and make your profile, because 100% very important for your job to have at least a LinkedIn and a GitHub profile. So I'll be tagging link on the LinkedIn regarding all the materials, everything that I've used, so that you guys can also follow the person who I learned these things from, right?
Yes, Vaibhav.
Yes. So watch out for the LinkedIn post. It will be coming in soon within 1 hour or 2 hours. I just have to do my breakfast still. It's morning here in Canada. So, so I'll just be, give me like 2 hours. Okay.
That's really appreciated, Vaibhav. That's really
Oh,
appreciated.
no worries. No worries, Sai. It was a wonderful session. And I hope I can be here again with you guys for the Synapse and the Cosmos later on. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, Vaibhav,
Awesome.
if you are not in a hurry, can I ask you one thing?
Oh, yeah, definitely, Manju. Please. Yes.
Related to this ADF, can you just provide some interview questions so that we can go ahead with this interview questions and prepare for some mock interviews?
Definitely, definitely. I'll provide you with the links and everything on the LinkedIn post. And what if you have not added Tanveer sir on LinkedIn, please add. He actually is the only person that I've seen in the LinkedIn family that gives query and answers to queries. Because when you reach such a level of a teacher, you are expected to just teach, but he actually solves the problems with the students. So you can follow Tanveer sir. I'll tag him on the LinkedIn, and from there you can get all the interview questions and the playlist that I'll be sharing soon. Okay.
Thank you, Vaibhav. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Any other questions?
No, Vaibhav. That's
No. Okay. I see Kapil here. Kapil has followed me on LinkedIn already. I remember your name, sir. Thank you so much. So any questions you can DM as well. And we are all students here.